Hi, and welcome to Stamping with Linda, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today I'm going to be working with the Nature Shilouette Stamp Set, which will be going out of the current Stampin Up catalog on the end of May. This is a fun stamp set to make mail greeting cards. I'm also going to be using the Woodgrain Background Stamp. So let's get started. First I'm going to take my Woodgrain Background Stamp. I want to take my scrap piece of paper. I'm using the basic black ink pad. Just going to ink that up. And this, again, is a fun stamp set for mail cards. If you're like me, sometimes it's very difficult to make a mail card because we cannot add the normal ribbons, buttons, and glitter. So this is a fun background stamp to make that background. Again, I left my stamp facing up, laid my cardstock up on top so that I could get a nice even wood grain. What I'm going to do next is I am going to take a white piece of cardstock. I'm going to take my Versamark pad and the Nature Shilouette Stamp Set. I'm going to ink that stamp. Once again, I'm going to just leave that stamp facing up and lay my cardstock on top so that I make sure I get right where I want it inked. Then I am going to go in with my deer. I'm going to ink the deer and stamp it. Hard for you to see because I'm using the Versamark. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with my black embossing powder. I always put my embossing powder in a bigger container so that I have room to work with it. The Versamark is a pigment ink, so consequently it stays wet so that it will hold my powders. At this point you can set your card aside. You don't have to heat emboss it right away. As long as you don't touch it, the powders will stay in place. I'm going to take my embossing gun and heat the powders. What I'm going to do is be doing a masking technique and a Emboss Resist technique. You want to make sure your powders are good and melted without burning your cardstock. Need to remember we're using heat and paper here. I see I didn't get a lot of ink on the center of my deer, but you'll get the idea of the technique I'm going to show. So I just want to lift it up and make sure that all my powders are melted. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my Wild Wasabi and Baja Breeze ink pad. I've taken a Post-it note and made a circle punched out of the Post-it note. I'm going to use that as my masking. Wild Wasabi with my Sponge Dauber and my Baja Breeze. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to daub around the circle. With my Baja Breeze. And you can make this as dark or as light as you want. Shadow as much as you want. Get a different look if you swirl. And I'm going to take my green, place that along the bottom where the grass is. Remove my masking and it looks like the moon is shining through on the deer. So here is my card already finished. I've got my woodgrain background, the deer, and the masking for the moon. So hope you enjoyed this fun and quick project, and we'll see you next time at stampingwithlinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart.